Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'd like to thank you all for tuning in to the show. Got my usual crew with me, Darnell and Tyler. I'm Trey, and we're coming your way with the 28th edition of the Don't Kill the Messengers podcast. First thing first, we're going to hop right into the UFC. We got a great week of fights heading into us. I'll let Darnell start it off with the first, with the women fighting, because I can't pronounce their names. So, Darnell, up to you, man.
All right. Well, first up, we're just going to talk about the main event cards for what's called basically International Fight Week for the UFC. We're going to start with Friday's card instead of Thursday's, but that's the UFC Ultimate Fighter finale, which will be headlined with the women's strawweight title rematch between the challenger Claudia Gadelha and the champion Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Which we will call JJ from now on.
All right. At least I will. Darnell, you sound like you got it down, man. But yeah, I'm going to be stuttering like crazy if I pronounce her name. So, all right. What are your thoughts of this fight, man? I know JJ, she's a beast. She's had it for a while now. You think this would be a pretty good challenge for her? This would be the second fight for her.
Yeah. Well, this is a rematch between these two. They had a razor-thin decision that went to Joanna the first time that they fought. And from watching The Ultimate Fighter this season, it looks like Claudia is kind of in her head. Like, she doesn't have to do much, and Joanna really would get irked by her. So I'm looking forward to it. It looks like there's some bad blood in this one, and both will give it all they have. This should be a fun fight.
Yeah. Now, how do you think it's going to go the distance or what?
I don't see either. I mean, this is one of those fights where they're so close. It's hard to call it one way or another. Yeah, if I had to give a thought, it would go to distance. The last one went the distance. I see the judges probably having to score this out unless somebody just gets the punch of their life, or if Gadelha gets some good position on the ground because she's solid with her Brazilian jiu-jitsu. But it should be, I think it'll be a pretty straight up 50-50 fight.
Yeah. Now, whoever wins this, because the first one's close, do you see an instant rematch again for 3 after?
If it's real close and Gadelha wins, yes, I see a third fight.
Okay. All right. Now, got to pick, man. Who you got?
Like I said, just from what I've seen from the head games, I think I'm going with the challenger.
All right, man. Yeah, we had to talk about trash talk before, man, and stuff like that. If you let somebody get into your head, that could be pretty fatal. I'm going to go with JJ. She's had it for a while, and I'm just going to roll with the champ. So we'll just have to see, but it's going to be a good fight, man. We'll go to Dos Anjos next with this fight for Thursday. Who's going to be fighting?
I feel Dos Anjos will be squaring off with Eddie Alvarez, former Bellator champion that recently came over to the UFC. He vacated the title to come over. Won the title back on his last Bellator fight, I believe, and then vacated it, made his way over. So, and won a match, I believe, against Anthony Pettis to get the title shot.
All right. So, how do you see that fight going?
I think Dos Anjos is just on another level right now at lightweight, just being the size that he is and the way he's been wrecking people. I gotta go with him. Eddie Alvarez is a tough dude, good wrestler, but I think he leaves himself open to too many shots. Just from what I've seen of his fights, he gets hit a lot, and that's not good when you're fighting
a guy like him.
Yeah.
Now, do you think he's truly ready to fight Dos Anjos, or was somebody else in mind that you would have liked to see fight him?
No.
And making a transition from Bellator or what?
I'm fine with him getting a shot. He's proven he beat who was put in front of him in the UFC when he came over to show that he belonged in the division. He's a former champion, even though it's from another company. But it's just like I said, I just feel like RDA is that much above all of his comp right now.
Okay. Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, I saw Dos Santos fight. That guy is very explosive, man. And if you're having a guy like Eddie that's going to be taking shots from a guy like Dos Santos, I don't see that really going too well for him either. So, you think this is going to be stopped pretty early then, or what?
I would believe so. I'm thinking like maybe a second or third round stoppage. Because, like I said, I do think Eddie's he's a tough fighter. He is going to take a lot to make him go down or quit. But I think RDA has all the tools to beat him. And I don't know. I think we might be getting close to that, the down end for Eddie, just because of his style of fighting and the wars he's been through to get to the UFC. I just think he might start fading a little bit.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. When you're taking hits and stuff like that, those can start to pretty much wear down your career. So I can definitely see that happening too. I have Dos Santos winning this as well. I just think this would be a pretty good opportunity for him to capitalize on a win if Eddie doesn't have his defense all the way up for the fight to try to avoid some of those hits and stuff that Dos Santos can deliver. So. Yeah, I got Dos Santos too. I think it's going to be stopped short as well. I don't think it's going to go the distance. So, but either way, I think it's going to be a good fight. Check it out for sure. Coming into 200 that we're about to get right into right now. Well, any other thoughts on this card?
It should be a good card. I mean, it's top heavy, but like just to throw in, I would recommend people watch Roy Nelson and Derek Lewis go at it. That'll be two heavy hitters throwing bombs. It'll probably only last a round or two.
Yeah, definitely. You have to be on the lookout for Big Country, Roy Nelson, as they call him. Got been in some pretty good fights, so that'll be another one to check out too. If you're just getting into the UFC or whatever, but definitely check out this fight. If you don't have anything to do, I would definitely recommend checking out this fight Saturday. For the pay-per-view. If you have to order it or just go to Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever. I think this has the potential to be my favorite pay-per-view of all time, just with some of the talent on this card, in all sports. So boxing, mixed martial arts, and whatever. Full of just talent on this card. So about to start with that. First, we have start the night off. We have Cain Velasquez versus Travis Brown. What are your thoughts on these two squaring off at each other?
It's an interesting fight just because I want to see how Cain comes out of this, how he looks. This is his first time fighting since losing the title. So, just kind of wondering what kind of Cain we're going to get here. He's been a beast of a heavyweight, but he's also been very injury prone. So I want to see how he comes off of this, to see if he's still that same Cain Velasquez. If he is, I think he'll work out on Travis Brown and get him out of there pretty soon. But I'll have questions if he has a good amount of trouble with him.
Okay. Yeah, I feel the same way. Cain Velasquez, he's an absolute beast. I just want to see how he is going to handle that loss to Verdum. And especially when he fought Verdum, they fought in Mexico. It was pretty high altitude there. So his conditioning in that fight was just way off. The altitude could play a huge factor in that. So I want to see how his condition is going to be in this fight with Travis Brown as well. So, this is going to be a good fight. I think he's like to see him use and incorporate his wrestling a little bit against Travis Brown to win the fight. But I think it's going to be a good one. Just like I said, I have my worries with his conditioning and going into the fight, and see how he's going to be mentally prepared after losing to Verdum. So,
I don't think you have to worry much about his conditioning. That's up until that fight, that's never really been an issue with Kane. I think a lot of that was he believed in his gas tank a little too much, and he didn't go to Mexico City early enough to acclimate.
Yeah,
and I think that messed him up because Verdum was out there for like 2 or 3 months
he
or
was
something.
out there for a while. Prepared for that.
Came a couple weeks early, but usually that's the last thing you got to worry about is Kane's motor. He doesn't gas.
All right. Now, how do you see in the fight being finished, and how long you think it goes? Goes distance or finishes early?
If Kane is Kane, this should be a 2-round fight max.
Okay.
Kane should be able to get him to the ground and do whatever. And I mean, Travis Brown has been clipped and dazed a few times, so his chin isn't just quite like you can't knock him out or anything like that. So I think Kane should be able to, if he's himself, he should be able to make short work of Travis Brown.
Yeah, I can agree. If he's up to himself and, like I say, he can use that wrestling, take him down, get some ground and pound action, and he should be able to win this. So, just have to see, man, is he truly ready for the fight and everything? So, we'll see Saturday.
Yep.
Up next, we got my man Jose Aldo. This is the one I'm going to be very anxious to see. See how my guy rebounds after that loss to McGregor. Just embarrassing loss. So, man, it's fighting Frankie Edgar. This is their second time.
Yep.
Right. Yep. Second time fighting each other. How do you see this one going?
This one's another interesting one. Like you said, Jose is coming off of his first loss in the UFC and his probably worst loss of his career, getting clipped in record time by McGregor. So we got to see if he's mentally there, if he's ready, because the last fight went to a close decision with Frankie. So he has a game opponent that wants to avenge a loss. He wants that next shot at. I mean, this is for the interim featherweight title.
Yeah. So
Frankie wants that. He hasn't held gold since he moved down after losing the
lightweight.
Lightweight title.
Yeah.
So I think we got a good fight here. My leanings are probably towards Frankie.
Okay. You think this has potential to be fight of the night? Out of all the cards on here?
Yeah, it does. As long as we have some aggression from Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
Frankie, he's always active. He's going to be in and out. Sometimes Jose can become kind of a defensive fighter and using the kicks and stuff to keep distance, which he might do in this fight, seeing as he did just get knocked out.
Yeah.
So it just kind of depends on Jose's side of the equation.
Yeah, I do think he's going to be fighting a little defensive and just using those kicks. I think he's has like the greatest legs in the history of the UFC. Those legs can do a lot of damage. I think he's just going to use them to sit back, wait for some openings, and try to chop Frankie down. This is going to be a long fight. I think he's going to take his time with him. I do have Jose. That's my guy. I want to see him win and get that title and destroy McGregor. So I want this to be a little redemption for him. So going to be pulling for him. I do think Frankie Edgar definitely doesn't have a chance. I think he feels as if he's been overlooked by the UFC. He's been on a good little win streak. Just think he hasn't had the opportunity to get the title like he wanted yet. So it's going to be a good fight for sure. Just to see how these two are going to just react in the ring. So, all right, anything else on this fight?
Can't wait to see it.
Now, up next, we have Miesha Tate and Amanda Nunes. Thoughts on this
Good fight. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody would have rather seen Holly Holm or Ronda Rousey in this spot. But Amanda Nunes is a good fighter. So, I mean, personally, I actually probably would have rather seen her switched out with somebody in the other women's fight. Switch her out with Kat Zingano. I would love to see that rematch. See if Miesha Tate could avenge that loss.
Yeah.
When they fought, but it should be a pretty good fight. I do think Miesha Tate will win it. I just think her wrestling will be superior, where she can get it down to the ground and probably own that fight.
Yeah. Now, I do have her winning too. Do you think after this, if she wins, you think Rousey will be back in time to fight her, or what? That's kind of been going through everybody. Yeah. She's been trash talking her and stuff like that. So you think that will be next for her if she wins?
I think the only person that knows the answer to that is Ronda Rousey. She fell hard taking that loss to Holly Holm, but I mean, you would think by now she'd have the itch to get back in there, but I don't know if just mentally she's not there. She has a bunch of money being thrown her way in Hollywood, so I don't know. I think she might be looking at those dollars and not having to get hit in the face to get paid.
Yeah, that's very true. So, now, do you have, you think that this will go all the way or
what? Probably so, unless a submission happens. I don't see either of them really knocking out the other.
Okay.
So, outside of a submission, it could probably be a decision.
All right. You have to be on the lookout for that one too. Up next, I was definitely shocked when this guy returned. We have Brock Lesnar making his return to the UFC Saturday. He's going to be facing Mark Hunt. Very surprised for this. I think this is going to be a good fight. A definite challenge for Brock with his return. I think Russ is going to play a huge role for him in this fight. But what are your thoughts on it?
It's a fun matchup. I think the UFC matchmaking, they did a good job at setting up an opponent for him that is not going to be somebody he can just run over, but it's a winnable fight for him.
Yeah.
Basically from everything I've read and heard, Lesnar just wants a chance to come back and show that it was more so the diverticulitis that made him look so bad at the end before he left, and it wasn't his ability.
Yeah.
So I think this is a good challenge for him. He's fighting a guy that really doesn't have much of a ground game for himself. So if Lesnar can do what he's best at, which is, charge in and get somebody on the ground without taking a heavy shot, he can definitely win this. But if Mark Hunt gets that right hand out, it could be a quick night.
Yeah, exactly. Now who you have winning out of these two?
I think I'm leaning more towards Brock, just because he is a freak athlete. So I think he can avoid taking a heavy shot and get a takedown and probably just get on top of Hunt.
Pummel it off. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Mark Hunt. I just think Brock, he's just been out of the ring for a while now. So I just think Mark is going to capitalize on that. I do believe Brock is going to have to use that All-American wrestling of his to pull this off. So if he can get him down to the ground and start pummeling him, like you said, I do believe this could be a quick, easy fight for him. I just think with just him being rusty, I just think that's going to play a huge role in a win for Mark Hunt. But either way, this could, like I said, both guys definitely have a shot of winning. I'm just going to go with the guy that's not rusty. So I think Mark Hunt will pull it off. Now, Brock, he's been saying that he was just mostly focused on this fight. But win or lose, do you think he will fight again in the UFC or what?
I think it depends on if he wins. If he wins, then yeah, he might take another fight. If he loses, especially if he gets knocked out, I doubt it.
Done. Okay.
He's just gonna take that easy WWE money.
Yeah, that's true. But, speaking of WWE, Ted DiBiase said, everybody has a price. So if,
which is why he's there right now.
Yeah, exactly. If Dana can get the right type of money to offer to him, I think he'll be down for it. But, definitely, if it's a nice, easy win for him, I think I can definitely see him doing it again. But a loss that could definitely mess with him. WWE is scripted. Take that easy cash. But definitely that'll be something to see if he'll get back in there after this fight. Because dude definitely draws people towards the UFC, so he's a huge draw for the company. So just have to see. Yeah. Now up next, this is another one. This is going to be another fight I just will absolutely love to watch. We have Daniel Cormier versus Jon Jones 2. What are your thoughts on this, man?
Yet again, a fight where one side I just want to see how he looks, and that being Jon Jones. His first fight back from his suspension, his indefinite suspension, he did not look very good versus Ovince St. Preux.
Yeah.
I mean, he won the fight. He was never really in any danger, but
Cormier is a different beast.
Exactly.
If he pulls that off against Cormier, he's going to have some problems. So
yeah, if he comes out looking like he did against St. Preux, I do not see Jones winning. Yeah. But if he's taking it serious and he's back to being Johnny Bones, he should win this fight. But like I said, it's just that question mark. Is there a little bit of Tiger Woods syndrome going in? if he's not living that bad boy lifestyle, does that mean he's just not as good?
I love the golf reference there, by the way.
Yeah. I figured you liked that.
So yeah, this is a fight, man. I'm just gonna love to see this. Just like these two, just absolutely hate each other. Even though Jones has the potential to be rusty, I'm just nervous after his performance against St. Preux too. Just with how rusty he was in the ring and just how he was just moving in the ring and everything. I'm pretty nervous for him in this fight, but the guy absolutely hates Daniel Cormier, so he's going to be going in there to do whatever he can to embarrass him. So this is just going to be a good, nice little main event to top off the fight card. So definitely check it out. Now, who do you have out of these two?
Oh boy. I'm going to go with the underdog. I'm going to go DC.
Yeah, I'm going DC too. I mean, there's just...
Really?
Yeah. I love Jon Jones, but I just think DC, he has a lot of pressure on him right now. I don't think if he loses to Jon Jones, I don't think he'll ever be the same again. Like this, to him, this is just a fight that is a must win for him. And I just think that some way, somehow, he's going to try pull it off against Jon Jones. I love Jon Jones. I wish him best. I wish him the best in the fight, but I just think DC, he's just going to do this. The pressure is just on him, and I just think he's just going to find a way to win. So.
Well, yeah, he's made that clear. He has an interview on ESPN basically where he said, if I lose this fight, I'm dead. So I think he's heaped a lot of pressure on himself in this fight. He seems to be a mentally strong guy, so we'll see how he comes with it. But I mean, I'm going off of my last view of Jones, and the Jon Jones I saw in his last fight could not beat Daniel Cormier.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be happy to be wrong, but he's gonna have to prove me wrong.
Yeah, like I said, I do believe Jon Jones, he's the greatest fighter, UFC, history, but, just how technically sound he was and everything against DC, when they first fought. But, this was a guy that was rusty against St. Preux. So, if he had a couple of more fights in him, down the road and then fought DC again, I would, feel confident going in with Jon Jones, but just his performance against, St. Preux, that was just kind of had me going against him. And plus, like I said, DC, he's a guy. He's putting a lot of pressure on himself because I believe if John Jones does pull it off, which he obviously can, but if he pulls it off, I don't think DC will ever be the same again. Mentally, I think he will just be destroyed. So it's all or nothing for him in this fight. I just think he's just going to find a way to get the win. So going to go with DC. Now, any other thoughts on the card, Darnell?
No, Saturday just needs to get here.
Yeah, like I said, I'm definitely going to check it out. But also, we're talking about just the main card. Be on the lookout for the prelims, too, because definitely has some heavy hitters in the prelims. You got Big Rig. He's going to be fighting Kat Zingano. She's going to be fighting TJ Dillashaw. The champion not that long ago is going to be fighting. So this is just good card to just check it out. This is going to be a great weekend for MMA with this how this set up. And also Sage Northcutt. A lot of people like him. He's coming off of a loss. Just see how he's going to perform after that L he took not that long ago. So this is just an amazing card to see. So if you got time, like I said, I would encourage you to definitely check out this pay-per-view if you can, because this is going to be a pretty amazing fight. All right, now up next we're going to go into the NBA. What were your guys' thoughts on this free agency?
I think there's just one really big splash, and everybody's aware of what that is now. And then kind of a bunch of little kind of drops in the water that I think nobody's really making that big of a deal of, only because Kevin Durant went to Golden State, which everybody saw being possible, but I don't really think anybody truly believed he would go there, especially with Oklahoma City making the move for Victor Oladipo. I think last week Darnell and I were saying his best chance is probably staying in Oklahoma City, and I guess he views it otherwise. I mean, I don't blame him for doing what he's doing. We were texting about it kind of since it happened on the 4th. Tran, I know you really think it's kind of a cop-out move. You're probably siding with Stephen A. Smith on this one, calling it, one of the weakest moves by a superstar free agent ever. But hey, I get it. He wants a ring, probably more than respect right now. So he's doing what he wants to do. So you can't really fault him there. I mean, you may be able to put it on his legacy if you want, but in the end, he'll end up with the ring, and we'll be here just talking about it.
Yeah. Now, also, we got D Wade. He's having. We'll get into more with Durant in a little bit, but D Wade, he's keeping his options open right now. Bucks, possibly the Heat, even though he's not satisfied with the original offer that they received him, offered to him. What do you guys think is going on with him, and where do you think he most likely will go?
I think it's more of a loyalty deal with him. Right? He's been there for everything that he went through. I mean, since he's been a rookie, that's where he's been. So he's done the whole roller coaster, winning a title early with them, and then he said probably gave his best years while they were terrible.
Yeah.
Then they worked out the deal to get LeBron and Bosh over there, got 2 more titles, and all through that time, Wade was never the highest paid player on his team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think he's looking to get that respect right now, because right now, I mean, they gave Whiteside the max they could give him. So he's looking at that saying, okay, you took care of him. You made me wait so you can take care of him. You made me wait to see if
Durant,
to see if you could get Durant. Yeah. And now you couldn't. So now I think he's going hard line. You either give me 2 years at 50, or I might be going to another team.
Yeah.
And it looks like the Nuggets, that's the other team. The Nuggets
Nuggets are,
are offering him more than 50.
Yeah.
So I think it's just kind of he wants to be shown respect for what he's done for them. He took the lesser deal to get LeBron, and he had to deal with Shaq being paid more than him, even though he was better, and all that kind of stuff.
Now, so do you think, like, right now, at Wade's point of his career, usually as guys get older, they want to chase the ring, but do you think he's more concerned with money right now than a ring, or what?
He has 3 rings, so I think now it's more about, okay, give him his cash.
Yeah.
That's, look at the other teams he's looking at. Chicago, Denver, Milwaukee. The Knicks, none of those are championship contenders.
Yeah.
Rumors are going now that, like, could he go to Cleveland and go team back up with LeBron? But I think that would take LeBron doing what he did for him, which is taking a lot less money to make sure he gets taken care of.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I completely agree there. I think at this point it's a money issue for him. He's, basically walking away, or apparently looking like he's walking away from the Heat. As Darnell said, they gave Whiteside everything they could give him. So, after, being in the league for as long as he has, not being the highest paid player on his team, he had a great year last year. Does he probably deserve, over 50? Probably not. But I don't blame him for chasing it either. He's never had that kind of a contract before. And he's saying, it's his time.
One of the greatest shooting guards of all time.
Yeah, we always talk, it's big talk in football. Someone has a big contract here. Dwayne Wade had a big contract here for himself, and he's probably telling these teams, hey, look what I'm still able to do. Yeah. Because a lot of people thought he was kind of slowing way down with his injuries. Yeah. So, I think him going for the money is the right move at this point. It would be nice if he can land a spot with either the Bulls or the Knicks, as they will I think the Knicks are already a playoff team with the lineup they've already assembled so far. Yeah. The Bulls, I think, are a piece away. If they got Dwayne Wade, they'd definitely be a playoff team. So I think either way, he's going to get a shot at the playoffs if he goes to one of them. Denver could be a little bit of a struggle if he goes there. Milwaukee could be a little bit of a struggle if he goes there, even though I bet they would be a playoff team as well. But I think in my opinion, I think he's going to go whoever's going to give him the most appealing contract, not necessarily the most appealing situation to walk into.
Yeah. Now, how many years you guys think Dwayne Wade has left?
Like at the top, at like his level of play currently, or just in general? Because he can sit around on the bench for years.
Yeah, true. Well, just like at his level of play, like I think right now he's at the downside of his career. But what point? How many years do you think he has left until his numbers really decide to take a dip?
I'd say 2 or 3.
2 or 3. Okay.
Yeah.
So you think like right after the contract, the teams are offering for like 2 years and stuff?
Yeah. Well, and I think he's going for the 2-year north of. Really, he wants north of 40 million for 2 years. Yeah. Considering he's never been paid over 20 a year. So I think he'll easily get over 40. Over 50 is going to be interesting, but I bet a team would suck it up and give him that if they really wanted him.
Yeah.
It's only 2 years.
Yeah, I think he's being fair even with everybody just looking for a deal like that. I think he knows really how much he has where he'll be an elite player still. And I think like he's being fair to the Heat even in that way. I'm not asking for a 5-year, $190 million deal. I'm asking for 2 years at 50. Just give me those. And he feels probably that's what he can give them, where they'll still have D Wade playing for him, not a shell.
Yeah. So. All right. Now, Wayne, you guys have anything else to add about Wade?
No. Okay. Interested to see who he ends up with.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Now, real quick, like, who do you think he'll go with to play with.
You know, I think since we're not 100% sure of what contracts he's being offered, I'm just gonna say whichever team's probably gonna get him closest to that $50 million number.
Well, I mean, from what the rumors are saying, if that's the case, it's going to be Denver.
Okay.
But I'm leaning more towards the Heat either come closer to what he wants, like maybe it's 48 million, maybe it's 47 or something like that, and he's fine with it.
Yeah.
Or I think he's a Chicago kid. I think he goes to Chicago.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he takes the Chicago deal either.
That'll be interesting to see, man. Rondo, him and Butler for sure, him going to his home place. So, yeah.
Have a good lineup.
Yeah, but yeah, I think right now he is worried about the money right now. Has the rings. I just think he just right now feels as if he wants to get paid the money that he feels he deserves since he missed out. He had to take pay cuts due to the big three coming to the Heat and so forth like that. So I just think right now his main concern is making sure he gets the money that he wants. So Chicago, that'll definitely be interesting to see. But yeah, I'm kind of feeling like whoever's willing to get to that 50 marker closest to it, I think he'll take his talents to. So just be interesting. Now, this has been an interesting free agency, man, with just how people have been getting paid. You know, I was telling Darnell for the 4th. By the way, hope everybody had a happy 4th. Hope you fools didn't blow off a hand or nothing like that. But you know, hope y'all didn't do stupid stuff like that. But I was just telling them, you know, if somebody a couple years ago, somebody went up to me and told me that, you know, hey Trey, guess what, man? I'm willing to bet you $1 million. Mike Conley is going to be the highest paid player in the history of the NBA. I would look at him like, wow, you're crazy. But you know, he is. Do you guys think players are getting overpaid or what?
Yes and no. I mean, if you just look at the raw dollar amounts, yes, they're getting overpaid, but that's how the collective bargaining worked out. They got this influx of cash coming from their TV deal. The salary cap is shot up. They have to give 51% of the money or 52% of the money, something like that, to the players. So that means players that are mid-tier players are going to be making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I completely agree. When the cap goes up, players are going to get paid, and this just so happened to be the group of players and a few teams that had the money to spend and weren't going to get a big level guy were going to pay who they could get, aka the Lakers.
Yeah.
You know, paying Mozgov, close to 50? 46? Yep. 46, I think. You know, so it's like, wow, a guy who barely got off the bench in the finals is getting paid close to $50 million for a few years. Yeah. It's like, you know, if you're just looking at that and know absolutely nothing about the NBA, you know, outside of, you know, names and who wins, you know, you're thinking, wow, that's a terrible contract. And in my mind, it is, but it's just the fact that they couldn't get anybody else, and the cap went up, and they had it to spend. Yeah. So, you know, I look at the whole situation and go, okay, Conley, you know, is he being overpaid? Yeah, maybe. I mean, but he's a really good guard. He's solid. And, you know, someone has told me before, and, you know, it goes across all sports. You want to pay your player so you don't have to find another one. You know, Conley's a solid point guard in the NBA. He's proved it. Yeah. You know, now Memphis paid him a huge contract. Now they're not going to be looking for a point guard for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a smart move on their part to pay him a ton of money to get him to stay and not let him leave to, you know, a Western Conference foe. But I also look at the situation and say it is a lot of money, and I don't necessarily know that Conley's worth that.
Yeah.
But to Memphis, he is. Yeah. So can't blame him for sitting there signing on the dotted line.
Yeah. I was joking with Darnell too, man. I was like, Nate Robinson's probably like, damn, man, I should have waited my NFL career longer, dude, because he could have got some of that money too. But
wait, here we go.
Breaking news, people.
Yep.
Looks like D-Wade going to the Bulls.
Yeah,
wow.
He's expected to leave the Heat and sign with the Bulls.
Wow, as we're talking.
Let me see if I can find something on that.
All right. So yeah.
Big contracts.
You go ahead. Search for it real quick. That just popped up on your guys' phone.
Yep, just got buzz from ESPN right now.
Wow, man. So yeah, he's going right to the shot, man. Yeah, we're just speaking about it. Definitely not a surprise. I mean, he's coming home. No place like home for him. So
I'm giving out lottery numbers later.
Yeah. Go ahead, man. But yeah, it's definitely not a shocker at all.
I'm reading here that it appears, according to Brian Windhorst, ESPN NBA analyst, that the Bulls are in the process of making a couple deals in order to clear up some cap space. Looks like they're going to move Jose Calderon and are working on another deal with Mike Dunleavy, and it would clear $25 million space.
Okay. Wow.
And that would make him happy.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Plus, he gets to go play at home. What's more fun than that?
Yeah. Yep. Now, you think the Heat will make a last-ditch effort, or you think it's pretty much late in?
I don't think the Heat want to pay him 25.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they can clear it now.
Yeah, true. I mean, as much as they would like to pay him 25, I just don't think they can.
Yeah. How you feel about that, Darnell? You like Wade, man. You like Jordan. He's coming.
I was going to say, I like Wade. I like Chicago. he can mentor my Sparty that's there now. Denzel.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Valentine, man. Yeah,
you got an even better mentor than Jimmy Butler being there now.
Yeah, the guy that's won championships and stuff. Complete veteran of the game. Butler, he's a better
player right now.
Yeah, he's a better player. I still think he hasn't reached all his potential. I can see him still improving a little bit more. But, Wade, he's won championships. I think that'll be good for Valentine's career as well. So,
absolutely. Especially with Valentine most likely going to be one of if he progresses like everybody believes he can in the NBA, he could be one of the more solid 2-3 combos out there.
Yeah. For sure.
So is this move Butler 2 to 3 starting now?
I would assume so. Have Wade at shooting guard and Butler at small forward. I think he can hold his own at either position, but yeah, I think that would be the best way to do it. What about you, Ty? What do you think?
Yeah, I think physically Butler can handle the 3. He'll probably see some bigger matchups defensively.
Yeah.
But I think he'll be able to handle that. He's a smart player. He doesn't get too much foul trouble.
Yeah.
But, I think offensively it'll still go through him. Wade will probably be 1B or 2A. So, I think also Dwayne Wade doesn't need the shots. I think he understands what it's going to take for a team to win. He'll get his shots, but he doesn't need them. And I think he'll be able to still realize, hey, this is Jimmy Butler's team. They're starting it around him. And with Rondo as the point guard, he's going to find whoever's open. So I think that offense is still going to be very fluid. I don't see there being any issue over whose offense it is, whose team it is, who's going to get the ball. I think it'll go pretty smooth.
Yeah, I just got concerned for their front court because they lost guy Noah Powell. He just signed with the Spurs, so just need to see like what they're gonna do in regards to their front court. I know they've kind of been looking at Bobby Portis. They've been looking at him to see what he can do. Been testing him out a little bit last year, but they got a talented backcourt, but that front court just have to see how they'll play that out to see what they can do in the playoffs. Because pretty good team so far, it's just what are they going to do with that front court. So
they're going to have to play fast.
Yeah, that for sure. All right. Wow. What other? Well, before you brought that up, you guys remember what we were talking about? In regards to people.
Players.
Well, yeah, overpaid players, but like the subject of it. We're talking about Mike Conley.
Well, yeah. I was, I was basically just saying how, it's smart to pay your players that you don't want to lose.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go find another one or, end up getting a worse replacement. We saw it this year in the NFL as well with Andrew Luck. He got a huge contract, and now the Indianapolis Colts won't be looking for a quarterback for the next 6 years.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where personally, I like Mike Connolly. He can shoot the three. He can run the offense. He can play defense. He's a two-way player. The importance behind signing him was the fact that now no one else is going to get him, and he's going to be in Memphis for a long time. And I think he deserves good money. That's great money.
Yeah.
But like I said, can't fault him for signing on the dotted line. Can't fault him for the cap going up. These players are the last people we should be blaming if you want to say they're being paid too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it kind of comes down to luck of the draw too. Just when the cap shoots up like that,
Yep.
if you're the best available at your position, you get to set the market.
Yeah.
That's just going back to your Andrew Luck example. He's not the best quarterback in the league, but he was the best open quarterback that was ready to sign a new contract. So he got a new deal, so he's the highest paid quarterback. Mike Conley was the best available point guard. I know that hurts your heart, Trey, that it's not Rondo, but he got to set the market, and he still has upside to himself probably in Memphis' eyes. So he got to get a monster deal.
Yeah.
And we also need to remember when a market shoots up like this is only the first line of players getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
Next year, people are going to see the deals that were made this year and say, okay, well, he got that. I think I'm better than he is. I want $2 more million than he's making a year. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of deals get thrown around next year.
Yeah.
Only because now there's a standard for a higher cap.
That's why we have so many 2-year deals with a second-year player option.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I believe Durant's going to be one of those.
Yep.
Yeah.
Firmly believe it.
Yeah. We was having a big discussion about this when we saw some of the contracts. Do I think some of these players are overpaid? Absolutely. But, I'm not going to get mad at somebody for taking that money because if someone offered me that contract, I would have, signed on the dotted line too. So, definitely not, mad at the guys, but it's kind of like, there's a difference between getting, your value and pretty much paying, over, for somebody. I do believe some of these players have gotten that, but, at the end of the day, they're going to take the money. They're wise, they're not, I don't know why they would accept less. So I completely understand that, for sure. Now, just overall, we're just talking about Wade, but, what are some of your favorite, free agent pickups, so far that you guys have, seen?
Well, that one might be my favorite now, just because, just my favorite current player going to my historic favorite team. So I like that a lot. But as far as just, it plays off of the Durant signing for the Warriors, but I think the moves they've made so far after are actually pretty solid. Getting Jaja Pachulia and more recently David West.
Yeah.
I think those are kind of perfect for how cheap they are. They add another layer of toughness to Golden State, which I think was turning out to be an issue coming late into the finals. They were starting to get bullied, and especially the game where their one player that's seen as a tough guy was suspended. They just kind of had nothing they could do. LeBron just did what he wanted when he wanted. I think those are two big bodies that are kind of goonish. That fixes a lot of that problem for him.
Yeah,
because that was a big glaring hole. Like, who are you going to have protecting the basket? And it's two players that I think can do the job. David West is also an offensive threat too. He can shoot outside like 20 feet. So I think those are two nice pickups of veterans on the cheap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. The only thing is Pachulia doesn't usually play big minutes, and I know they're not going to expect big minutes out of him. But the only thing is I don't know, as far as a rim protector, he'll be able to throw his body out in front of the rim, but I don't know how well he'll do blocking shots but staying out of foul trouble. Because like you say, he's just kind of big. He'll have some games where he'll do it well, but I feel like more than not, he's just kind of average. He's kind of there.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's mainly what they were looking for, is big bodies. Like, the Warriors, they're kind of, I mean, if you want to, like a comparison, they're like the A's of the early 2000s. Or Boston, they like advanced metrics and stuff like that. And Pachulia, he has a defensive field goal percentage against him of something like, I want to say the number was like 48%, 51%, something like that. So a solid percentage for a center that you can't expect the stat stuffing from. So correct. I think that's why they made that move.
Yeah, and kind of like you said, he's cheap.
Yeah.
You're not going to complain. And they signed a 1-year deal, I believe?
Yeah, 1 year.
Yeah, like what are they really losing?
Yeah.
By signing him.
Yep. I do like, those what you guys were talking about. Also like the Knicks, I think them picking up a guy like Derrick Rose and, a guy like Noah, I think that's going to help their team out a lot as well, just bringing those in. Plus, they already played with each other before. I think they got great chemistry. I think they will fit along well just with each other. Just have to work together to get into the scheme that Jeff Hornacek is going to be preaching to him over in New York. But that's one, too, that I like as well, along with the Bulls and what Jerry West has been doing over there for Golden State. So, pretty good pickups.
Yeah, one I kind of like that neither of you have said so far is Chandler Parsons to Memphis. I personally really like Chandler Parsons. I think the dude can just straight up ball. He's good two-way player, unselfish. I think he really understands team basketball. Him being now with Mike Conley and Mark Gasol, I think they can make the playoffs. I think they can, maybe steal a series from somebody. I don't think they'll steal two, but I definitely think they'll be one of the more solid, steady teams in the Western Conference, especially with a team like Oklahoma City taking a few steps backwards, losing Durant. I think they could be a team that, benefits from that because Golden State's already, the cream of the crop in the Western Conference. And now there's a big gap between them and the rest of the conference. So that just allows other teams to move up because Oklahoma City could potentially be fighting just to make the playoffs this year.
Now, anything else on the free agent pickup, guys?
I don't think so.
Okay. It was fun.
All right. Now, okay, let's get to Durant. What are your thoughts on him going to Golden State?
Holy smokes. That's all I can say about it. Like, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, that bandwagon couldn't be any more full.
Yeah.
Like, that was my first thought. I was like, and I remember I tweeted out, and I quote, I thought the bandwagon was already bad enough.
Yeah.
Now it's gonna be unbelievable. Like, they're now everybody's favorite team.
Yeah.
I've seen so many memes and videos of just how unreal on paper this team's gonna be. Because right now it is on paper. We need to remember that.
Yeah. Just my little thoughts. First and foremost, Kevin Durant, he's a grown ass man. Dude can go wherever he wants to go, Whether you disagree with him or not, it's his decision, nobody else's. So, but my kind of thing on it is a little bit of this. I'm kind of with Stephen A. in a way. Just with if he would have went to any other team, I would have been fine with that for sure. But the key thing with the Golden State decision is that, you know, they were losing pretty bad to them in the regular season, but when it came to the postseason, they were up 3-1 against them. They had one more game that they had an opportunity to win against, and you know, they choked and they blew. So when you were up 3-1 against Golden State, you pretty much showed me that, you know, hey, you know, we have an opportunity to beat these guys. And when even without them trading Ibaka and so forth to bring in a guy that I think could have really helped them, they had the opportunity to do it and go to the finals. When he did that, if I was in his shoes and I choked like that, my mentality would have been, okay, I'm about to get back and I'm going to try my best to destroy these guys next season because we should have won that game, but we gave it away. That would have been my thought. But because to me, they had an opportunity to seal the deal being up 3-1. I just think they just choked it away. Kind of like how they've been choking away games in the regular season. But to do that, to go against a team that, you know, you should have beaten and then to say something like, oh, I think this will help me as a player. It's kind of like, you know, dude, I believe you could have stayed with Westbrook and won against them, possibly won a championship with how you guys played against them. You guys just choked it away. Now, there's rumor going around circulating that, you know, him and Westbrook, they have problems together. You know, that's rumor. I don't think it's laid in stone yet, just rumors. You got to be careful with rumors anyway. But just looking at that, for you to be up 3-1 on a team that you could have went to the finals, and I think if they would have went to the finals, I think they would have beaten the Cleveland Cavaliers or just choked it away. I don't think it was necessary for him to do that. Being a caliber player that he is. But, you know, that was just like, wow, you know, like you didn't need to do that, dude. You guys were right there. You just choked it away. You know, I would have used that as motivation to say, okay, these guys got lucky against us. Next year, we're going to kill them, destroy them, finish them real quick, and then go to the finals and win. I think they had the talent to do that based on what I saw in the postseason against them. But, you know, they just choked it away and whatnot. So that was kind of my thing. I do, you know, Stephen A., I do believe there may be some animosity with the whole Lakers thing. You know, with them saying with how they kind of been beefing when Stephen A. kind of broke it out that he was going to the Lakers and they kind of clashed a little bit. But I do think, you know, that was kind of weak. I think he had enough talent around him to go to the finals and possibly win it, just based on their performance. I just think they just choked that away. Being up 3-1, unless you have a major injury or something like that, being up 3-1, there's really no excuse why you should lose a 3-1 lead to me. They just choked it away. So that was just my take on it. But like I said, you know, he's a grown man. He can do whatever he want to do. But me personally, if I was in his shoes, I wouldn't have done that.
And Trey, according to that theory, it should make absolutely no sense because he's leaving a team that blew a 3-1 team to go to a team that blew a 3-1 lead.
Yeah.
So to you, it should make next to no sense.
Yeah.
But, you know, I guess my real thought on it, I mean, initially, I think the first thing everybody thought was, you know, just how unreal is that team going to actually be? You know, my real thought, and, you know, Darnell shares some of the same thought as I do, is that the whole entire team who, okay, their big three players currently, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, all shoot the ball. Thompson and Curry north of 20 times a game, and Draymond Green roughly 15 to 20. They're all going to have to start taking less shots. Kevin Durant's going to have to be taking less shots than he took last year. So they are all going to be sacrificing numbers for a potential year of glory. Yeah. Which, all right, whatever, I get it, that's fine. But I don't see Curry giving up a lot of shots. I don't see Thompson giving up a lot of shots. Yeah. The only player I could potentially see giving up some shots is Draymond Green, and that's because he already wasn't the first or second option on the offense.
Yeah. I kind of agree with you, Tyler. I was telling this Darnell this over the fourth as well. When I look at like successful teams, that super teams, like the top teams that I can think of that were able to win, that had super teams that didn't really have a drop off. I think of Kareem when he went over to LA. That was kind of like the downside of his career. So when Magic came in, he really helped that team a lot his rookie year by winning. And then I also think of the Chicago Bulls when Rodman came over there. Rodman was a guy you could have went on offense the whole year and not even had him touch the ball. He wouldn't have cared. He was just such a beast on rebounding and defense that you didn't need to worry about that. He was just a very unselfish player offensively wise. But I just think that, based on the shooting and stuff that you were talking about, I think that's going to help set Clay and Draymond back. I think Draymond, he's still developing, still going to still going to turn out to be better throughout the year. I just think with them adding Durant, I think that's going to put a little halt to his game. At least offensively. Defensively, he's definitely still going to be a defensive player of the year candidate for sure. But with them adding Durant, I think that's going to hurt his development a little bit. Klay Thompson was the key figure that basically helped them seal that 3-1 lead against OKC last season with how he was just shooting, just balling out, dudes just being on in his face and stuff like that. So I think that's going to put a little halt to his game as well. I don't know. I just think that was just too much for them to just add to the team. Another caliber player like Durant. I just think that's going to put a halt to it because, that's going to be a big three. Draymond, kind of like a big four, because Draymond, like he's a beast too. So, you had Chris Bosh had to take a hit when LeBron and him went to the Heat. Kevin Love had to take a hit as well. So I don't know. I just think that was just too much of an ad for them. I do like the Pachulia and David West ad, but I don't know. I could be wrong. It's a shooting team. They could just pass the ball, and if they're completely unselfish, it can work. Mm-hmm. Darnell brought up that Durant was just a very efficient player, so he wouldn't need that many shots. But I don't know. I just think, me personally, with my beliefs, I just think that's gonna hit the development of Draymond definitely on offense, and I think that's gonna put a little halt to Klay Thompson's game as well. So with him coming, so. What are your thoughts, Darnell?
All right, I'm gonna soapbox a little bit here. All right. Just first off, I have no issue with what Durant did. I'm totally fine with it. I think it's the day and age we're in. It's across all sports when we're ranking players. One of the first thing that comes up is rings, even though you need a full roster of players to win a championship. Somebody could be the best in the world at what they do, but if they don't have the right pieces around them, they're not going to win a title. I.e. LeBron, up until he finally went to Miami and had better players, and came back to Cleveland and had better players. Sorry, Boobie Gibson. Sorry. Yeah. Gauskas and all that kind of stuff, but sorry. Even in the NBA, where a single player can make a huge difference, you still need to have a very good secondary player and probably a good third player in this day and age. So, no, I'm not mad at Durant for doing what he did. As far as,
but dude, they didn't. But real quick, Cleveland didn't have like a Westbrook and an Ibaka. He had some team. He had some players around him now. But just real, that's just me at it. But okay, that's kind of two different situations. I'm just throwing that in there now.
Ibaka had already started to show he was declining.
Yep. But Westbrook?
Well, Westbrook, and part of it is also fit. And rumors are coming out, like you said, that possibly they weren't getting along. And, me and you have had to talk plenty of times that I did not feel that they fit well together. Just their mentalities did not go well together. And then as far as the Stephen A thing goes, why are you going to the team that beat you? I had mentioned this to Trey, on the 4th of July. Stephen A had a radio show on Fox Sports before he went back to ESPN. Isn't that basically the same thing?
I don't think so.
Beating the break off Fox Sports. So,
I mean, they're not competing for a championship at the end of the year.
They're competing for ratings.
They want money, yeah, but they're not like the champion of the world goes to Fox. That's to me, those are two different, just scenarios.
If you're the best broadcaster in the world, people will listen to you, right?
True.
If you want to make it that way, so why is he going to the competitor that was beating him down? So miss me with that argument. That's all I'm saying. So let's kill that one. And then, so I just feel like that's a dumb one there. I mean, the product is going to have to show next season. Can they all fit together? Is there enough shots to go around? That's to be seen. But, like I said earlier, now it seems to be the thing. If you don't have a championship, we can't call you the greatest at anything. Whoever says Dan Marino is the best quarterback of all time. Yeah. He had basically every record possible, but he's fallen further and further down the list. At first it was behind Elway and Montana. Now you throw Brady in front of him, you throw Manning in front of him, yet he still has numbers better than most, probably the other 4 people on that list. So I think this is kind of like fans are getting what they asked for. Players want to have all that glory, so they know they have to get a ring, whether that means they bite the bullet and go join up with 2 or 3 other Hall of Famers to do it. That's what you asked for. That's what you get now. Yeah. And people getting mad about super teams. It's not new. We've had super teams since the beginning of basketball. The original Celtics were a super team. Will Chamberlain demanded to be traded from the 76ers to the Lakers to play with Jerry West to get a championship. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar got tired of playing with the Bucks, demanded to go to a better team. He got sent to LA. KG got traded from Minnesota to Boston. He had to lift his no trade clause. So even before free agency, players were doing this to get to teams to win championships. So that's also a faulty argument.
I agree.
Alrighty.
I mean, my thing is I just don't like it because I want to sit here and have as good of competition as possible.
Yeah.
But that's me just wanting an equal league, not being like, well, why are you joining the team that just beat you? Like, that's not my beef. I would just like to have as equal of an NBA as possible, where you never know who's going to win. That's when I think it's awesome to watch. But I mean, my thing is, it was his choice. He chose to go there.
Yeah. To go back to that though, Ty, when's the last time we had back-to-back champions?
Did the Heat? No, the Heat did it in the Heat.
Yeah. No, they did. They won.
They went back to back.
I said they won back to back. They went.
Lakers.
But yeah,
Lakers.
Yeah, but those were all teams where someone went there.
So you have to go back 4 years for that. Yeah. Like we've actually had parity over the last 4 years.
It's fair, and that's fair. I put on my Twitter account. I'm gonna root against the Warriors for 82 plus games this year. And then my thing too is I also just really hate bandwagons. I'm gonna go against the team everybody else is going for, just because I think it's more fun that way. So there you have it.
I'm fine with that. If a fan doesn't like that they built this team, that's fine. Like that's second nature too. Everybody hates that super team. That's why everyone hates the Yankees except for Trey. That's why everybody hated the Patriots. It was Kobe. But so I mean that's fine, and it's going to be good for the NBA. I know people are worried about, well, I'm not going to watch anybody else play. Yeah, you're going to watch your team play, hoping that they're one of the teams that can knock Golden State off.
Yeah. Hey, the Pistons did it last year. Let's go for 2 in a row.
Yeah. Now, what do you guys? Let's see. What do I want to ask you guys first? Okay. we'll stick with Golden State real quick. Do you guys think, based on Durant coming there, do you think they have improved? Will stay the same or what? Do you think they're gonna beat their own record next year or what? Like, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I do not see them winning 74 plus games. No, I'm not.
I agree. I'm even going to say they're not even going to win 70 games.
Yeah. There's going to be a gelling period where they have to get used to playing with each other. Just to think back to the last two formations of great teams, like Boston was horrible when they first got together. It took about half a year before they started playing well.
Cleveland struggled.
Yep. And then the Heat were basically a little bit above 500 that first season until they got to like after the All-Star break. And then they made it to the finals, lost, and then won the next year. So, no, I don't see it. Just they have a better chance at coming together quickly because they all play similarly. And maybe I'm in the minority, but I do think they're a team that will be fine with giving up shots to allow for KD to get off. I think that's a team where basically just whoever is on fire get to shoot.
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say that they've, took a step backwards. I don't think anybody's saying that. I don't even think people are saying they're not improving. I think you have to say they're going to improve because, like you said, they're getting a very efficient player. They're getting a very smart player. They're getting a player that will play defense, that is very good offensively. I just think as long as they can make that adjustment period as short as possible and can figure out what type of offense is going to work, they're going to be plenty fine. Now, I'm still holding to it that they're not even going to win 70 games this year, but I do think they will clearly be the best team in the West. I do think they're going to be the 1 seed, and most likely going to the finals again, barring injuries.
Just have to see. Now, next one that I have for you guys was Westbrook. Everybody's saying, okay, we need to, OKC, they're going to have to trade this guy to get some value for him because he might not stay. Do you guys think there's no chance he will stay with OKC next year? And if you do think he will stay, do you think, OKC, when you think about places to travel, that's not like, the top place in somebody's head, let's just be honest. But,
not going to hang out at the beach in Tulsa.
Yeah,
Oklahoma City.
Do you think, he could possibly kind of be like a LeBron in a way or like a Golden State and help bring in some free agents his way? Or, do you think it's just done? They need to get rid of him or what?
I think he's traded before the trade deadline.
Yeah, I think it would be smart on their part. I don't think you want to chance losing him because you could win him back in free agency. Even though I don't think it'll happen now, but there's always a chance that he could come back.
Yeah. I think they give it a good month or two just to see how the team comes together without Durant. But I think it's basically to shop him around. I think he is going to go to the Lakers. I think D'Angelo Russell and maybe Ingram on the block for Russell Westbrook.
Yeah. Just have to see, man. I'd love to see him go back to Cali. So that's the team I want to see him on. But yeah, we'll just have to see. Can help with his fashion business and stuff like that too. So not a fan of how he dresses, but hey, a lot of people are. Now just to close it off, with this whole Kevin Durant decision, what do you think was worse? Kevin Durant going to Golden State or LeBron's move to the Miami Heat?
If you just look at the optics of it, like I said, I wasn't bothered by either, but the optics of it, LeBron's is worse just because it was the whole TV show deal. So it just ticked people off. But I mean, he raised a bunch of money for charity and stuff like that. So I see what he was getting at for it. But seeing as he did all that and didn't go back home, that just pretty much lit a fire. So I think if you have to weigh it, LeBron's is worse of two things I don't think are bad. But yeah, I go LeBron if you're going to compare them.
Yeah, I would go LeBron probably based on the fact he was hated already. I mean, a lot of people already didn't like him. Yeah. So then when he's going to join up with Bosh and Wade, everybody's hating him some more. You know, Kevin Durant's likable. People like him. He's, you know, been a solid guy, you know, outside of basketball. You know, I'm not saying LeBron's a bad guy or nothing, but just people like Kevin Durant. And now he's going to the team that everybody loves. So.
Or soon to be will love.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's one of those.
They'll be pretty hated come next season now.
They could. Yeah. And I think they can. But I'm saying right now, you know, everybody loves the Warriors and everybody loves Durant, unless you're from Oklahoma City now. But, so, I mean, you have the liked guy going to the liked team, whereas with LeBron, you had the hated guy going to the team everybody's about to hate.
Yeah. I can agree with that, just with the whole TV thing. Even though LeBron did help bring us some money for a good cause to help people, you know, to kind of put himself on a pedestal like that, and as many people love LeBron in Cleveland, to get on there and broadcast that you weren't going there. I think that was still, you know, pretty bad to do that, you know, with all the love that people had for him over in Cleveland. But that love did quickly turn to hate as soon as he made that decision. But either way, you know, both guys are chasing the ring, you know, for both of those points. You know, LeBron did when he won and his contract was up, he did go back to Cleveland. So I do go with LeBron, but I think just overall, you know, they were just two guys just trying to chase a ring. So for sure. So it's interesting to see, man. This will be a interesting NBA season come up. Just to watch how Golden State works together, stuff like that. But for sure. Now, guys, anything else?
Yeah, just real quick for the Dwayne Wade deal. It looks like Brooklyn has interest in taking Jose Calderon off the Bulls' hands, and it looks like Cleveland is going to bite on the deal for Dunleavy.
Okay.
So that's clearing space for Dwayne Wade.
All right. You got anything to add, Darnell?
No, just hit us up on the Twitter, DKM_cast. Email us dkmcast@gmail.com.
Yeah. And look for us YouTube, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, TuneIn. We're on a lot of platforms, so just feel free to look us up. Leave comments. You know, want us to cover something you'd like us to talk about, you know, feel free to tell us. Pretty open-minded. Love to interact with you guys. So, yep.
Probably going to have a lot flying out on Saturday night for UFC 200. We'll probably be doing some live tweeting during that.
Yeah, for sure. So, definitely, you know, if you're just now getting interested into the UFC and you have time, I think that could go down as one of the greatest pay-per-views of all time, man. That's going to be a nice fight card to watch for sure. So,